All right, joining us on the telephone right now is Donald Trump. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Are you exhausted? Because I know you've had a very busy weekend. Your daughter, Ivanka, has had a baby, and you are a grandpa for the third time.
Well, I just left the hospital, and the baby is beautiful. In fact, the baby looks just like Molly Line.
How's that work?
Yeah, that's a story.
That's an interesting one, isn't it?
And how is Ivanka doing? Is she doing well?
She's doing great.
Oh, good.
Really great.
Now, the baby's name?
And what are you going to, what have you named her?
Arabella. A very exotic name. Arabella Rose is the baby's name. I just found that out myself, by the way.
Is there a line of Arabellas in the Trump family?
Well, I guess that'll be next. Arabella will be doing her thing soon, I'm sure.
Oh, that's great.
All right. I tell you, your ears must have been ringing over the weekend, not only because you're about to be a grandfather, but they were talking about you on every channel. And so was the president in his weekly address. It's time for those the most fortunate in our society to pay more. How do you feel about the emphasis on the rich skating through society as the president has couched it?
Well, I think it's really important that you don't take incentive away from people. The rich can leave, they can go to other countries, they can create jobs elsewhere. And I think it's really important that you don't take incentives away from people that really are the job producers. Now, with that being said, when you look at what's going on with the country, when you look at how we're being taken advantage of. I am a tax increaser for certain people and certain countries that don't treat us fairly, and one of them would be China. And if we did taxing on China, you'd get jobs back. And there are other countries that I call them abusers. They abuse this country. They abuse our great country. And when you have an abusive country, abusive to us, we should be taxing them, and we should be taxing them big league. And I've said it so many times. And it brought me to #1 in the polls, and nobody picks it up. It's amazing. It's amazing, and nobody picks it up. But, the other problem is I look at the infrastructure of this country. You drive out, you go on the roads, and you see it in New York. You see it all over. You drive on the roads, and you just look at these roads that were built 60, 70, 80 years ago, and they're in such bad shape. And you go to other countries. I mean, you go to some of these countries that, as an example, you go to China, you go to places in India, you go to Abu Dhabi, you see roads that are lined with gold, and it's really very sad.
When you want to see some bad roads, I mean, here in New York City, one of the richest cities on the planet, and so many of the things are just crumbling. When the president, Donald, talks about there has to be shared sacrifice, there are a lot of people in this country, over half don't even pay any federal taxes, so he's really talking about you. You're going to have to sacrifice more.
Well, I don't mind sacrificing for the country, to be honest with you, but, you do have a problem because half of the people don't pay any tax. And when he's talking about that, he's talking about people that aren't also working, that are not contributing to the society, and it's a problem. But we have 50%. It just hit the 50% mark. 50% of the people are paying no tax.
On another note, something that this isn't particularly surprising, Hollywood throwing a lot of support behind President Obama as we head into 2012. Big names, George Clooney, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Garner, the list goes on and on and on. So how can Republicans compete with this kind of Hollywood money that's flowing in?
Well, I don't think they have to. Look, Obama's doing such a poor job as president that if the right person runs, that person's going to win. Obama's just doing an absolutely incredibly poor job. Hey, I'm a member of Hollywood. I have a top show on television. I'm a member of Hollywood, I guess, right? Even though I'm sitting in New York 95% of the time. But the fact is that Obama's record, especially at the time, they're going to be really looking at during that little one-week period, but at the time of the election, Obama's record is going to speak loud and clear, and if it continues to go the way it is, I don't think he can be reelected.
But, his leadership style is something interesting. In 2 of the 3 press conferences, he's trying to couch himself, Mr. Trump, as somebody that is above it. Like, these kids keep arguing, these Republicans and Democrats, I want them to get together. I want a solution. I want a plan on my desk. What do you think of that approach?
Well, he's supposed to be the leader, and the leader goes in and gets things done. They knock heads and they get it done. And if you look at what's going on with this debt ceiling, it's absolutely a joke. And I have to tell you, I'm ashamed of what the Republicans are doing. The Republicans are losing a great opportunity to once and for all solve this problem.
How?
They're just kicking the ball down the road.
Well, how would you solve it?
Well, I'd get everybody together, and I would not do anything with respect to the debt ceiling until we had a deal. This is the time to do it. Everybody wants it to be done, and the Republicans are just not doing it. I'm very I'm very saddened by the performance of the Republicans. They have a great opportunity to get this problem solved, and they're not doing it.
Don, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, do you want them to not leave the room? What do you want them?
Well, no, I want Obama to lead to start off with. Okay, he's obviously not leading. He talks, as you say, he talks to everybody like, it's not his fault. But somebody has to get everybody together and get the problem solved. And you know what? A month ago, I thought they were going to do that. Now it looks like they're not. They're just going to punt. And I don't like that. This is the time to get the problem solved on a long-term basis.
Today you call it punting. Last week we saw a YouTube video. You called the Republicans El Foldo.
Well, I'm very much ashamed I'm a Republican. I'm very much ashamed by what's gone on with the Republican Party. First of all, if you go back to December, the lame duck session, they brought Obama back. They brought him back like a phoenix, a rising phoenix. He was Jimmy Carter, and then he became the rising phoenix. They let him back into the game, and they shouldn't have done that. They just aren't doing good. Then you have this plan where they want to attack Medicare. They have elections to win, in all fairness. Medicare is not a bad program. Tremendous abuse, tremendous everything, but they attack Medicare, and they have to run for election.
Right.
And the Democrats, by the way, are having a field day with this. And as you know, you lost an election in Buffalo that was unlosable. So the Republicans are doing a very, very, very sad job, and maybe that'll change. But this is the time to solve the problem right now.
Well, a moment ago when you were talking about if the Republicans don't nominate the right person, it kind of sounds like you are still hanging your hat out there, like, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to drop my hat into the ring.
Well, it's very funny. I loved doing it. As you guys know very well, I loved doing it. I had a great time doing it, and I thought I was very constructive. And, I'm going to look at something. The show is going to go on and off, and at some point I'll be a free agent, and I will be looking at something if the right person's not chosen. Look, a couple of things have to happen. The economy has to continue to be bad, which I believe it's going to get worse, and the Republicans have to make a big mistake, which they very well might by picking the wrong person, and then I might do something.
So on your own or with the Republican Party?
Probably, and it would be too late to be with the Republican Party. You'd be talking about May or June.
All right. Interesting stuff. That's why we have him every Monday morning. Donald Trump, call him Grandpa if you see him on the street today, because he just had another grandchild.
It's very exciting, and I'll speak to you next week.
All right. Our best to Arabella.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.